I'm here in South Lebanon on the day that Israel is supposed to complete its withdrawal from the country according to the ceasefire agreement. They have not withdrawn. Netanyahu has said they will not withdraw, but Lebanese civilians are trying to return to their homes, and all over southern Lebanon the Israelis have been massacring unarmed civilians trying to return to their homes. The latest count we have is 41 people shot and injured, 4 people dead. And these are just people trying to go home. And this is after the ceasefire deal finished and Israel today is meant to have left. And they're not only still here, they're massacring people. And this is the city of Khiam, which is the largest place that Israel actually managed to occupy during the conflict. And here they've just detonated everything in the city. This is not bombing, this is detonation. We've driven right through the city and we've probably seen, I would estimate, 1,000 destroyed homes. And that's just what we've seen personally. And this must be what Gaza looks like. It's just extraordinary. I'm really angry to see the level of destruction. We saw a small toddler looking in disbelief at his destroyed home a moment ago, being comforted by his family. This is a microcosm of Gaza, I know, but it really makes you feel it.
I think this is it. No, the one after. We have to walk though, yeah?
That's okay.
Destruction is crazy, man. I think this is it.
The house was very destroyed in the video. I think that's blasting wire.
It could look like
Ammunition box.
Yeah.
And very carefully in case of booby traps. There's the piano. Can you photograph this box? Because it's got the writing on the side of what it is. I think it's American. No, the frame is broken, it's not salvageable. I'm here in the once beautiful home of Dr. Julia Ali, and we found her piano, which went viral around the world as a symbol of Israeli destruction. A video of her playing it, then Israelis mocking it. Sadly, like everything around us, the piano was destroyed, not just the keys, the frame itself, the metal frame is cracked. It's not salvageable. And the scenes of devastation in this city and the wanton destruction of so much beauty. We've seen literally thousands of civilian homes destroyed in this city. And not destroyed in fighting and not bombed from the air. They're all demolished, blown up with explosives in just the most extraordinary act. It's not warfare, it's a war crime. Just complete bloody ridiculous vandalism. Still. There's a lot of just deliberate smashing and vandalism here. And for example, these chairs have all been ripped with a knife to destroy them. Anything, they've set fire to the house, then anything that survived the fire has just been deliberately destroyed. And secondly, all the electrical goods have been stolen. There are no televisions, sound equipment, all the kitchen equipment, all the high-value items have been stolen by the Israeli army. And they've graffitied over the walls. And this is a particularly beautiful house, and there's several particularly beautiful homes around here, and they're all in this condition. And this is hatred. There is no military objective to doing this. This is pure hate and evil, deliberate desecration of people's homes. And the graffiti is so infantile. This is obviously something strange and obscene. Well, this gives you an idea of the behaviour of the most moral army in the world. This is where they've been eating, and there's food all over the floor. They've defecated over here, and they've just discarded their ration tins and their cutlery and their plates on the floor, deliberately made a big mess of food on the floor. And they've been playing with a children's doll in the middle of it, which is typical of the perverted behaviour of these people. And this stinks, and it's a terrible mess. The Israeli army, they're just disgusting. What we're seeing here would disgust any normal human being. I know they've killed thousands of people. I know they've killed hundreds, possibly thousands of children here in Lebanon. I know today they've massacred at least 4 people, just civilians going back to homes like this. But with all that, somehow, when you're face to face with their destruction of beauty and their animalistic behaviour, defecating on the floor, playing with the kids' dolls, deliberately slashing the furniture, you can see there where they've stolen the television and satellite equipment. It's sickening. I mean, they are absolute pigs. They've stolen the generator set from outside the house. In fact, they've stolen the generators from all the houses around here. And the gentleman who lives opposite says they've stolen all the electrical equipment from inside this house as well. So that's it. You know, the extent of looting is really interesting. And it's something, there was a whole thing going on in the Western media about Russian soldiers looting, stealing household equipment in Ukraine. Well, nothing compared to the scale of what Israel has done, yet the mainstream media, I've never seen it mentioned. We're here in the Khiam Valley. Down below us, we have the part of the Litani River which the Israelis reached for their famous photo shoot, in order to be able to claim that they had reached the river, which of course many proponents of Greater Israel wish to be the future border of Israel itself. So that propaganda photo shoot was important for them. It was also important for them to be able to say that's how far they'd got in the fighting, even though they didn't get there in the fighting, except for literally a few minutes for a photo shoot. This is also one of the areas which was bombed with cluster munitions, so we have to be very, very careful where we're walking, and with white phosphorus. Now, I don't know for certain that the fires, particularly here, were caused by white phosphorus, but white phosphorus was used heavily across this area of southern Lebanon. This location gives you a very good idea of the battleground. Over there we have the Israeli settlement of Murtullah. That's an Israeli settlement in occupied Palestine. You can see its large antenna there on top of a hill, typical fortified Israeli hilltop settlement. And below us we have this valley. And in 2006, that's where the Israeli Defense Forces took very heavy losses, particularly in tanks, as they tried to come up the valley and invade Lebanon. So this time, what they did was, instead of coming up the valley, they actually cut roads from the settlement on the back, over the brow of this range of hills, and came up behind into Lebanon, and then over and took the town of Khiam there. But that's as far as they got. They weren't able to fight their way out of there and across and through and take more of Lebanon. In the background, of course, you have Mount Hermon, which is recently, in the last 3 weeks, illegally annexed by Israel from Syria and from Lebanon, and that now stations Israeli troops. Now, they've taken more land during the ceasefire than they ever took during the fighting. Getting them out of southern Lebanon is not going to be easy. And one thing I can tell you for sure is that in the coming years, where I'm standing will be a battleground again. There's news has come through that Israeli troops have entered a village, which is actually just down there, and are looting there from houses, and I assume they might be likely to destroy houses again. They've been regularly destroying houses along this border area. It's difficult because the role of the Lebanese army here appears to be to guard the Israeli army. It seems very strange. So whether we'll be able to find a way where we can get down in there without being stopped is perhaps difficult, but we're certainly going to try. Today, 4 people have been killed just behind me with shots fired from the Israelis who are around the vehicle. It's an Israeli armoured vehicle, you can see, at the top of that hill, and they're in position there and in the surrounding houses. They've been shooting and killing Lebanese civilians who are attempting to return to their homes, and as I speak we can hear more gunfire in the distance. There has been a massacre across Lebanon today. At least 11 Lebanese have been murdered by the Israeli army on the day that the ceasefire expires, and the Israeli army, under the ceasefire deal, is supposed today to withdraw fully from Lebanon. They are not withdrawing, and they are massacring Lebanese attempting to return home. And we ourselves were a little further down this road 20 minutes ago, and we witnessed a 12-year-old boy being shot by the Israelis just here and taken away in an ambulance. He's not among the 4 who were killed just here so far today. Let's follow the army. Let's follow them for a while and see what they do. Will. Yeah. Oh. But this is completely deserted. bomb crater. If there's nobody here, the UN's not here, the Lebanese armed forces aren't here, the Israelis aren't here, Hezbollah's not here. Our driver's been told in no uncertain terms that we're not allowed to be here. Nobody's allowed to be here. As you can tell, nobody's allowed to be here by the fact that nobody is here. This village is very comprehensively destroyed. We are right on the border here. Actually, not just within the demilitarized zone, we're actually right on the border with Palestine. Big UN base is just there. This mosque has been totally wiped out. It's a very eerie feeling to be somewhere so completely deserted. We've managed to get right up against the border into an area which it does seem the Israelis may have left now. We've not seen any sign of the Israelis. We have a drone above our heads, but it does feel rather exposed being here. And this is obviously absolutely the front line. If you see that destroyed car there, it has bullet holes in, not just bomb damage. This has been the scene of a frontline battle. There are shell holes in the side of that building. I suppose it has a different feel to it because we're in the area where the Israeli ground offensive was repulsed, so we're used to, and we've seen huge amounts, the hours and hours of driving just through devastation and through tens of thousands of shattered buildings. The extent of it, it's hard to get over to people if you haven't been here and been through it. But this is actually different. This is the scene of a battle, not just of mass bombing of a civilian area. And yeah, I confess it's quite a scary place to be. I feel more nervous here than I felt anywhere else, I think.